They were close and a happy family. Both their parents played music and they sang. There was always music and musical parties going on around them, where everybody played or sang or recited or did something. Small wonder that when they grew up, they swept onto the stage and television screen with a mighty sound. And they're still doing it. The Clancy Brothers with Robbie O'Connell.
Oh, see the fleet-foot toes of men who speed with faces wan, from farmstead and from fisher's cot, along the banks of Bann. They come with vengeance in their eyes. Too late are they, for young Roddy Macaulay goes to die on the bridge of Toom today. There is never a one of all your dead who bravely fell in fray than he who marches to his fate on the bridge of Toom today. True to the last, he treads the upward way, and young Roddy Macaulay goes to die on the bridge of Toom today. Hi-diddly-idle-dum, diddly-doodle-idle-dum, diddly-doo, hi-diddly-i-day. Hi-diddly-idle-dum, diddly-doodle-idle-dum, diddly-doo, hi-diddly-i-day.
Let grasses grow and waters flow in a free and easy way, but give me enough of the fine old stuff that's made near Galway Bay. And Eastman all from Donegal, Sligo and Leitrim too. We'll give them the slip and we take a sip of the real old Mountain Dew.
Hi-diddly-idle-dum, diddly-doodle-idle-dum, diddly-doo, hi-diddly-i-day. Hi-diddly-idle-dum, diddly-doodle-idle-dum, diddly-doo, hi-diddly-i-day.
At the foot of the hill there's a neat little still where the smoke curls up to the sky. By the smoke and the smell you can plainly tell that there's poaching brewing nearby. It fills the air with odour rare and betwixt both me and you. When home you stroll you can take a bowl of the bucket of the Mountain Dew.
Hi-diddly-idle-dum, diddly-doodle-idle-dum, diddly-doo, hi-diddly-i-day. Hi-diddly-idle-dum, diddly-doodle-idle-dum, diddly-doo, hi-diddly-i-day. Now learned men who use a pen have wrote your praises high, and sweet poaching from Ireland green, distilled from wheat and rye. Throw away your pills and the cure-all ills, be a pagan, a Christian or Jew. Take off your coat and graze your throat with a real old Mountain Dew. Hi-diddly-idle-dum, diddly-doodle-idle-dum, diddly-doo, hi-diddly-i-day. Hi-diddly-idle-dum, diddly-doodle-idle-dum, diddly-doo, hi-diddly-i-day. I'll tell me ma when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. They pull my hair and stole my comb, but that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City. She is a Gordon, 1, 2, 3, please would you tell me who is he? Albert Mooney says he loves her, all the boys are fighting for her. They're rapping the door, they're ringing the bell, saying, oh my true love, are you well? Out she comes as white as snow, with rings on her fingers, bells on her toes. Out Johnny Murray says she'll die if she doesn't get the fella with the roving eye. And the wind and the rain and the hail blow high, and the snow comes travelling from the sky. She's as nice as apple pie, she'll get her own lad by and by. When she gets a lad of her own, she won't tell her ma when she comes home. Let them all come as they will, for it's Albert Mooney she loves still. And tell me ma when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. They pull my hair and stow my comb, but that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City. She is a Gordon, 1, 2, 3, please will you tell me who is he? Albert Mooney says he loves her, all the boys are fighting for her. They're rapping the door, they're ringing the bell, saying, oh my true love, are you well? Out she comes as quiet as snow, rings on her fingers, bells on her toes. Old Johnny Murray says she'll die if she doesn't get the fellow with the robe and eye. Let them all
Brothers, 6 East and Shin. A big family, Liam. How many were there?
11. There was 11 originally.
Yeah.
I don't remember. There was such a broad span in the family that I don't even remember 2 of them. The first child died at the age of 2 or something.
Yeah.
And my sister, May, died when I was 6 months old. So.
You're the youngest, are you, Liam?
Can't you see that?
He's not the cutest, you know.
What's that, Bobby?
He's not the cutest, really.
You're not the cutest. Paddy, Clancy, I seem to remember reading somewhere that your dad used to be listening to the dad mending shoes downstairs and singing Trovatore.
That's right.
Is that right?
Every once in a while, our mother would go out and with her sisters, you know, they'd have a bit of a night out, and he'd be babysitting us. And he used to avail of that to mend our shoes. And he'd have a big overcoat and a last. And he had a tongs in his mouth, and to entertain us, he'd tell us the story of the operas, and he'd sing all the parts, soprano, bass, everything.
For God's sake.
And I can see him with a nail in his mouth telling part of it, and he'd take it out to sing, put it back in, tap a bit.
That's lovely. But were they, I mean, your mother sang too, didn't she?
She did. Well, I thought Il Trovatore was fantastic, the way he told it. Years later, I was in Cleveland, Ohio, and in the Municipal Auditorium, Il Trovatore came. Big production of it. I said, I must see it. I had never seen it, you know. But I was never so disappointed in anything in my whole life. I mean, the great hero was
big fat,
Swish.
big fat opera singer.
Big fat. Terrible. Your imagination can make things beautiful.
Our mother was into traditional songs, more or less, the shut-eye ones.
Yes.
You know the ones where you had the baby on your lap and you tapped it on the back and you sang, "Dodely, yodelly, yodelly, dodely, 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 down, dodely, dodely,
Let's get the bubble up there.
For God's sake, it's lovely. Okay, give him the ball of boss for that. Thank you. Tom, God love him. Tom was the eldest, was he, Liam?
No, he was Tom was next to Paddy.
Paddy's the eldest.
But he took off with a troupe of actors. I think it was it Anya McMaster he went with
No,
first?
he first went to Jeffrey Kendall, Shakespeareana International. A big deal, you know. And he got his photograph in the paper, and it was cut out, and everybody in the family had a copy of this photograph of him in the paper. When he joined the Jeffrey Kendall Company.
Yeah. And of course he came into acting subsequently. So did you,
But it's inspired the rest of us then to think about it. Paddy and Tom were running a theatre in New York. The first production was a big success. The second one was a flop. And to supplement the income from the door, or the lack of income from the door, they started running late-night concerts, bring in revenue. And that was about the time that I went to New York. We started doing midnight concerts too. Same old story, Peggy, right? Peggy Jordan was running the midnight concerts in the Grafton.
And you could say really the singing was accidental, was it not? But of course the big break came, did it not? We're going to have a look at this now. The big break came sometime after that. There they were now, the lads. Tom, God love him, God rest Tom. Paddy, Liam. Tommy Macon was with them in those years. They were playing the bar circuit, especially the Blue Angel in Greenwich Village, when suddenly the big break came along. It was better than a blessing from the Pope, the lads said, when they appeared on the Coast to Coast Ed Sullivan Show.
It's somewhat ironic, but true, that the most popular Irish singing group in the 1960s, the Clancy Brothers and Tommy Macon, got their first break not in Ireland, but right here in America. Right now, they're rehearsing for their upcoming reunion concert to be given here in New York City. Liam, Tom, and Paddy Clancy, the three brothers from County Tipperary, and their friend Tommy Macon.
2 minutes to showtime. If you want to go to the toilet, it's too late now.
Under him a blunderbuss from underneath her cloak, our young friend on the moor. The counties of Tipperary and Armagh, the thrilling voices of the Clancy Brothers. Now with this loaded blunderbuss.
And Tommy Macon had 1961, the Ed Sullivan Show.
100 pounds was offered for his apprehension there. So he would curse and settle to the mountains did repair. Dead young friend on the moor.
And, of course, they eventually arrived in Ireland. They went to America and they did all sorts of jobs out there and ended up singing and became the whirlwind that was the Clancy Brothers. Those of us who were around remember that very well. Tom McCluskey is over there. What was your association with them, Tom?
Well, I was running dance halls at that time. I owned 2 dance halls, and I wanted a spot in one of them for one of the nights. And I heard that there was this act that did very well down in Cork. Peter Prendergast told me. So there was one of them living near me. He was living in Cady. It was Tommy Makem. I contacted him, and he put me on to the manager. And we were writing back and forth and getting nowhere, so I decided to hop on a plane and go over there. So I went over and engaged them for a tour in Ireland.
Kieran McMahon, the Olympia, is that right, Kieran? You brought them to the Olympia.
I was in New York in 1962 for Radio Ireland, recording nice, decent Irish traditional musicians. And I met this lot. And they dragged an innocent boy like me down to Greenwich Village and all that scene. And we had great times. And then that year you had a concert in Carnegie Hall. And I was there, and then I went to Chicago, where they were also in the... And then Liam said, could we come back home and be recognised? So we organised a concert in the Olympia. And that was sold out. And another one for the following Sunday. Then we brought, I remember bringing it down to Kilorgland and to Cork to the Prendergast.
Yeah,
that was 60, what year
62.
62. A lady who graced the stage in those years and delighted us all is sitting beside Kieran. Who else but his wife, Dolly McMahon, if you know it. And somebody whose name really was associated with the origins of balladry in this country. It's all about it. Not the origins, but the revival of it. Is this not so, Kieran? Was Peggy Jordan. That's Peggy there beside me.
Peggy Jordan's house. Everyone was welcome. It was an open house for musicians, and still is. And she's one of the great ladies of
Irish
Dublin.
Music. Absolutely. Do you remember the night, Peggy, tell me about the night in the Green Cinema, I seem to remember. Pete Seeger and Ewan McCall.
Ewan McCall and Peggy Seeger.
Peggy Seeger and Ewan McCall.
And they were supposed to be the stars. But Liam and Luke were both staying at my house, you see, and the two of them were sitting in my drawing room playing away and singing away. And then we decided, good God, it'd be great if they sang on the concert. And they did, and they took the roof off the house. It was wonderful, wonderful. And I'd say if Liam and Luke had gone round the world, they'd have swept the world with their...
I was actually in the cinema. I was in the Green that night. I remember very well.
Yeah.
What's not known about Peggy Jordan, what's not known about her, is that she also was the first person to bring the Dubliners on stage in Ireland. I think I'm right to say with John Malloy. In the gate. They weren't the Dubliners there. All right, Peggy Jordan, if you know it. Now, at home or abroad now, the Clancys keep on coming. This is the thing about it. This is Bobby's daughter now. She lives in Boston, where she's been performing for some time now. She recently brought out a CD, and it's called It's About Time, which is now on sale in the shops here. Here's one of the songs from it. It's called The Mantle of Green. And with her is our brother Finbar, her cousin Robbie O'Connell, and Chris Kenevy on the piano. This is Aoife Clancy.
Dublin one fine Sunday morning. My love came to Dublin to honor me there. He wore a green ribbon wrapped round a green bonnet, and I wore a bangle of gold in my hair. Now the leaves, they were green on that bright Sunday morning, but now they are falling, there's wind in the bough, and I never chapel. I'll not hear the minister saying his prayers. I'll go down to the river, 'neath the birch trees and branches, and ask them to raise up their arms in the air. Now the good girls, they sleep in all their fine modesty. The bad girls, they sleep in the height of their shame. I lie alone in the cold by the river till I see my true love return with my name. And I'll make him some shoes of the finest green leather. I'll make him a cloak, the finest you've seen. And he'll walk like a lord through the city of Dublin. And I'll walk beside him in mantles of green. Yes, he'll walk like a lord through the city of Dublin, and I'll walk beside him in mantles of green.
Lovely song and a lovely singer, Aoife Clancy. Now, those of us old enough to remember them when they first stormed on the scene way back in the early 60s will surely never forget the strong, sturdy figure of Tom Clancy. Big, open smile on his face. There was a gale force power in there that surely would put the wind in their sails. This comes with love and good memories from all of us who remember him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome back to New York the Clancy Brothers and Tommy Macon.
It's of a brave young highwayman, the story we will tell. His name was William Brennan, and in Ireland he did well. 'Twas on the Kilworth mountains he commenced his wild career, and many a well-trained Northern man before him shook with fear. And it's Brennan on the moor, Brennan on the moor, bold brave and undaunted was young Brennan on the moor.
Regrets, never. No, I'd do it all again. I enjoyed it so much. This has been a great life for me. And I've enjoyed the performing, enjoyed the theater, enjoyed the singing.
And that's Joan Clancy, as Tom's widow there. You're living in Ring now, are you not?
That's right.
Ring.
We moved back to Ring from New York and Los Angeles about 9 years ago.
How long had you been in the States?
I had been there about 17 years, and Tom had been there for a long, long time.
Yeah. He was really wanted to be an actor, did he not?
Oh, Tom was always an actor, wasn't he? I think the boys would say that. He loved to act.
And he got I think Bobby was telling me there earlier tonight that he played in The Moon for the Misbegotten by Eugene O'Neill.
That was a great show. It was part of his return to acting.
Yes.
It was a Broadway show which took us from Broadway to Los Angeles. We went to Los Angeles for 11 weeks and we stayed there for 11 years.
God, isn't that shocking? How do you explain, though, Joan? I mean, there's a marvellous, talented bunch of kids around you. All the Clancy children are here tonight, and nieces and nephews and cousins and all that. There's a lot of talent around that family, isn't there?
Yeah, I think all of the families fostered the talent in the children because they had the freedom themselves to express talent, and they weren't afraid of their children going into so-called safe jobs, and they encouraged the children to express themselves.
That lovely story about the father mending the shoes and singing a Trovatore. I mean, that's got to be the seed of something, you know. That's niche, isn't it? She's a sister, isn't she? What did it do to the family when this worldwide success hit you?
Made us very proud.
Did it?
It did.
Yeah. Were the mum and dad alive at that time?
Mammy was.
Mum's alive.
Yeah.
And she saw all that happening.
Yeah, she did.
And it's a great time for you, wasn't it?
It was lovely.
Still loved them to come home, did you?
Yeah.
And that's Peggy, of course.
And it was lovely to see them tonight live, Liam.
Yeah.
Because we don't get an opportunity very often of seeing them live. I was really thrilled watching them there singing in the opening.
Oh, we see
it
them
was
now.
great.
We'll see them a bit more of them. That's Peg,
Yeah,
Clancy.
good taste, Peg, you know.
Peg. That's Peg, you see. And who remembers Peg and Bobby, her brother, in a lovely show called As Zosimus Said? Remember that?
A long time ago.
No, that wasn't that long ago, for God's sake. I was involved in that show,
It was
you know.
30 years ago, Liam.
Was it? What was it, Kieran? This is going to take me back a bit now. And I'm going to go back with you because, you know, whether you knew it or not, I was largely responsible for that programme here in the house. That's to say, I was the head of that department, you know. And I introduced also on that show a man that I brought onto television for the first time, and what a success he was. God rest him too, oh, sweet Yvonne. But here's Peg now and Bobby Clancy on As Zosimus Said.
Now, let's get weaving, as Zosimus said, with Peg and Bobby Clancy, a mulla far catching a spole.
We're all here together for to sit and to crack, with our glasses in our hand and our work upon our back. There's lay a trade among 'em that can mend or can mak. If it wasn't for the work of the weavers, if it wasn't for the weavers, what would you do? You wouldn't have a cloth that's made out of wool. You wouldn't have the coat or the black or the blue, if it wasn't for the work of the weaver.
Don't you be cheering yourself there, Bobby Clancy. By the way, listen, would you all stop talking about antiques? I mean, I'm an antique, for God's sake. It was a great, lovely little show, though, wasn't it? Yeah. You were in America.
And he had hair and everything.
I had more view anyway.
That's right. It was a great show. Colm O'Loughlin used to be involved in it.
That's right.
And I remember we all of us got stuck. Kieran, well, I remember we all got stuck in the dressing room out here one night, and we had a fierce argument about the origins of some song. I think it was Erin Lynch of Paddy Lynch on the deck of Paddy Lynch's boat.
Oh, yes.
That's what it was about. A long time ago.
Well, we plundered his collections many a time, you know.
Yeah, you made wonderful use of them, Liam Clancy.
Well,
you surely did.
Songs are dead when they're in books. It's only when you put them back in the singer's mouth they come to life.
That's right. I've wondered them. It surely made wonderful use of the ballads. Yes, yes, Kieran.
One thing, the first two of the Clancys that I recorded before I knew it was Bobby and Peg. And I remember it was down in Carrick, and we dragged Paddy out of a sick bed. He had a very bad flu, and I still have those recordings before I met the others at all. And
I got this
then it went on, life went on. My God.
And
Look at my hair now. Look at the colour of my hair. Irresponsible.
You're not going to blame us for that, surely, Kieran.
And it goes on still. That's what it does. The tradition goes on still. Here's a band now with an unlikely name. It's called Alpha Love Shot. But here we go again. Peg's son, isn't it? Peg's son, Colin Power. Bobby's son, Finbar Clancy. And joining them tonight is Paddy's son, Connor. Alpha Love Shot.
Everything's flowing freely as I watch you open eyes. The places that I know are telling me that I should go to a dream I found myself walking in. Maybe a song I'll still hold on. I got something to say. and then the wind blows over the land sand so gently, and then the wind blows, and then the wind blows, and then the wind blows. I got something to say, it's burning me up to the skies till I realize I got something to say. It's burning me up to the skies till I realize.
Pointerash Egg Lifelines with the Clancys. Now, I said earlier that the Clancys in Carrick-on-Suir was a great house for the music and the crack and the songs. And it goes on that way. Here's what it's like these days when they get together. And for those of us who remember the great days, it sure evokes some very nostalgic memories.
On a mountain in Virginia stands a lonesome pine. There below is the cabin home of a little girl of mine. Her name is June, and very, very soon she'll belong to me. For I know she's waiting there for me 'neath that lone pine tree.
Then I awoke to find me head between the bed and wall, and the blankets twisted round me neck. Ah, it was the beer that done it all.
You could travel from Kingsbridge to Queens and the town, from High Bridge to Bay Bridge, from uptown to down, from the east side to the seaside. See summer scenes, we made New York City our island of dreams. They were ever so happy, they were ever so sad, through gold in a new world, through good times and bad. All the parties and weddings, the Cayleys and wakes, when New York was Irish, full of joy and heartbreak. I look at the photographs written with time of the people I cherished when the city was mine. Oh, how I loved all those radiant smiles, how I longed for the days when we danced in the aisle.
Eleanor, Paddy, is it Eleanor and Pat O'Brien?
Pat and Eleanor live down in Youghal.
Yeah.
Where they perform regularly.
Pat is our nephew.
I see.
He was our sister Lila's son.
I see. Was it a great help, Paddy and Liam? The Clancy brothers, of course, were yourself, Paddy, and Tom, God rest him. But, and Tommy Makem then. But was it a great help, the fact that you were brothers? Like, did you kind of...
It did help, because there was a certain amount of rehearsing you didn't have to do, because you already knew each other's songs, especially in the beginning. We had a kind of a bag of songs from the family that we already knew. And we also had a good idea of what each other could or could not do and that kind of thing.
It helps in staying together as well, because groups, they say that family will fight a lot, which is true. We had some great battles. But where other groups would break up and walk away from each other, blood is thicker than water, and we would get over the fights. And
And also, they would gang up on Tommy Makem, maybe now.
Poor Tommy.
Okay, I'm sure it was a great help. Donald Clancy's names.
Like we do with Robbie now, right, Robbie?
No, I'm sure it was difficult for Tommy Makem, the fact that we were brothers.
Yeah.
It's
But
bound
he,
to have been.
he became very close to you, for God's
He
sake.
did, yeah,
Tommy.
he did.
Tommy.
You see, Robbie has taken over the part now of Tommy Makem in a way. Robbie is a songwriter as well, and with the group we have trouble, of course, fighting back and forth. He's the one that keeps us all together, really. You know.
Lovely. All right, Donald Clancy is Liam's son, and he has his own group down there in Ring, where Liam lives. I think I'm right in saying. Here they are now, Donald himself, Donald Goff, and David Power. Big up Liam. I know. I said big up Liam. The old Cowlook isn't too bad. The old house isn't bad there. That's Liam's house down in Ring. It's you never lost the touch with Ireland, contact with Ireland really at all.
No.
Yeah.
No, some people can manage to go away and instantly change their accent and change their view of life, but the longer I stayed away, the more I had to come home. The only problem was that I couldn't find home because I didn't feel it. I never felt at home in Carrick-on-Suir where we were born. And when I found Ring, to me, that was the heart of the Daisha. And I think we're Dacia people above all else.
God, give him a bowl of bus for that, for God's sake. Yeah. It was, I mean, are you going to continue and go on like Frank Sinatra, you keep coming back like a song?
Well, we have 5 albums in the works at the moment, a group album and 4 solo albums. And we're continuing with the taking people on various adventures. In January again this year, this will be our 4th Irish festival on board a cruise ship in the Caribbean.
Can I come?
You can. If you have the money, you can do anything.
I can do anything. If we go down here, because I said some of the Clancy children, the children of all the brothers and sisters, some of them are there, and they're right along that row, I think I'm right in saying. You'll have to tell me your own names. Where did we start with them? There, supposedly. That's tell me you're who, love?
Fiona.
Fiona, come on.
Eben.
Aidy.
Rory.
Raylene. Blonine.
Colin.
Donald.
Connor.
All right, there. Some of the Clancy children it is. And that's
Blonine.
Blonine. Little flower, I think I'm right in saying. That's right, isn't it? Blaheen, like really, Blaheen. And you're a designer, are you not?
Yeah, I make jewellery.
And that's some of the jewellery you're wearing there?
Yeah, that's right.
It's very lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah. Make money out of it?
No.
You should take up some sensible trade like singing. And where are you living in? You were born in the United States. You spent 50. Okay, say a few words to me because I can hear an American accent coming at me.
Yeah, well, I was born there and I lived there till I was 15 and I moved here. Then I live in Cork now. I'm based there.
Oh, well, I can in a position to tell you can go to a worse place than Cork. And that's your sister, Raylene, is it? Raylene?
Yeah, Raylene.
And you're also American, aren't you? American
Well,
born.
I wouldn't say I'm American, but I was born there, yeah.
But you were girls of what? For you 15 years and you came back to Ireland. Did you just blend in easily?
Yeah. Well, we came back every summer, like, you know.
Yeah.
They couldn't keep us in America for too long.
Did you love coming home, love?
Yeah, we loved it.
Did
Freedom.
you know, but did you have the impression of, like coming home to Ireland, that you were coming to a sort of a lovely rural situation where there were lovely innocent people and all that? Tell me
Well, I
what
wouldn't be that kind of, it's not that innocent, you know, especially when you're out in the pub till 5 o'clock in the morning. But,
we never heard that. We never heard that.
But,
I know all about
it's freedom and it's beautiful. Ring is a beautiful place and it definitely equals freedom and it's a big change from living in a place like Los Angeles.
Anyway, you're happy to be back, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And all the Clancy children. How many? There must be about twice that number of the children. Some of them aren't here and they're all over the world and they're all
Too
over the
many,
show.
yeah.
Anyway, there they are, both of us for the Clancy kids. Liam Butler is another nephew. And Irene Malone is a first cousin. So you can't get away from them, you see. Here they are now with a duet from Tim Rice's Chess.
Knowing I want you, knowing I love you, I can't explain why I remain careless about you.
I've been a fool to allow dreams to become great expectations.
How can I love you so much, yet make no move? I pray the days and nights in their endless weary procession soon overwhelm my obsession. You and I, we've seen it all, chasing our heart's desire, but we go on pretending stories like ours have happy endings.
not give me more than you gave me? Why should there be something in me still discontented?
I won't look back anymore, and if I do, just for a moment,
I'll soon be happy to say I knew you then. But if you hear today, I'm no longer quite so devoted to this affair. I've been misquoted. You and I, we've seen it all, chasing our heart's desire, but we go on pretending. Stories like ours have happy endings.
Now, there's a man up there in the audience who made a big impact on certainly in my generation of people, writing in, I believe I'm right in saying, in the Evening Herald, Joe Kennedy. Is that right, Joe?
Originally.
You really were the one who kind of told us about the Clancy Brothers.
Well, Kieran was the one who told us everything on the radio about the Clancy Brothers, and that people listened. And then I suddenly realised that I had met Liam Clancy many years before when we went for an interview for a job in an insurance company. He's always said to me, never tell that story, but...
God, if that fellow had only minded himself, he could have become rich.
That's right. There's the Zurich Insurance Company in Dawson Street, a very respectable place, and Mr. Edgar M. Deal was the boss.
Yes.
And I think Liam got the job. He had 7 honours as leaving cert, I'm afraid. He was way ahead of everybody.
You haven't told us that?
We hadn't a chance.
Never told us that, Joe.
No, there you go.
Well, come on, Joe.
Anyway, 10 years later, he's an international sort of figure, and they come back to Ireland, and a crowd of hacks. I had to queue up in the White Horse to get an interview with them. And I remember Vinnie Doyle, the present editor of the Irish Independent, where I now work, was in front of me, and he was writing about entertainment for the Sunday Press at the time, and I was next in line. I said, remember we met in that insurance company being interviewed for the job, you know? So the music they were making then was a sensation in this country, and as a working journalist, I started writing about it and going along to their concerts and everything. And Peggy here was certainly a pioneer in putting on all sorts of things. But one of the things Liam turned me on to was, I remember that interview well, he said, you shouldn't be talking to me at all, you should be talking to Joseph O'Haney and some other man he had met down in Danganacoosh who knew Kurt on Van Ihe in its entirety. And Joseph O'Haney was, Joe Heaney, as we now know, was totally unknown then, and certainly to people like me. And through the Clancy Brothers, people who never knew anything about Shannon singing found out something about it and decided they either liked it or they didn't like it. I thought it was extraordinary. And he was a wonderful person, Joe Heaney. Marvellous man. You know.
Joe Kennedy. Very nice. Liam, it was, what will you say to me? Was it great crack? I heard Tom, God rest him, say there a while ago, no regrets, would do it all, love to do it all again. What's
No, it was an extraordinary experience. If you can imagine coming from a small town down the south of Ireland, an awful lot of people in the world never even heard of Ireland, not mind to say, Carrick-on-Suir, or Carrick-on-Suir, some of them say. I want to kill them. And to just decide that I'm going off to America and we're going to become famous and rich. Well, the taxman made sure we never got rich, but at least we got a certain amount of fame. But it was an extraordinary journey.
But you know,
to travel the
Paddy.
world with the songs and to see things that you could never possibly have dreamed of. You know.
It was an extraordinary. Paddy, you were with
was,
Roger.
and one of the things about going away is that you do change yourself, and it allows you to try things that you wouldn't dare try at home. You couldn't go and up on a stage and sing the songs we did in front of our own fellas that we went to school with. They'd have laughed at us, singing O'Donnell the Boo and Kelly the Boy from Killaan. Only because we were able to do it and get away with it in America could we then come back and they would listen to us then.
And now
It's
we
the
can get away
prophet
with
in
it
his
here
own
now,
time.
you know.
Had we never gone away, we probably never would have...
Well, I think we'd have to say, would we not, after 40 years of your singing, I think the Irish people would say, Gur Mila Mahagood. I think they would say that.
Thank you.
Go on. Up and over. Delight us, Liam, Bobby, and Paddy. Go on over and delight us there, because we're near the end of things here for tonight. On there, over with you. Well, now, the ceol for going. That's what else would you expect when the Clancy family gets together. But to wind up tonight, here's a song now many of us will remember. For some of us, it's a kind of a Clancy signature tune. Who remembers it? Will you go, lassie, go?
Oh, the summer time is coming, and the trees are sweetly blooming, and the wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, oh lassie, go? And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, oh lassie, go? I will build my love a bower near yon pure crystal fountain, and on it I will pipe all the flowers of the mountain. Will you go, oh lassie, go?
We'll all go together.
And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, oh lassie, go?
If my true love she were gone, I would surely find another where wild mountain thyme grows around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie, go?
And we'll all go together to pluck wild mountain thyme all around the blooming heather. Will you go, lassie?
Too nice to stop there. Let's start from the beginning.
Oh, the summertime is coming,
the trees are sweetly blooming,
and the trees are sweetly